Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Monday, February 17th, 2014. And this episode, we're going to recap the NBA All-Star game that happened last night, as well as some news across the league and the nation for both NFL and college football. And MLB season is getting closer. It's getting closer. 41 more days until opening day. And actually, it'd be a little bit sooner for the Dodgers since they play a week early. But overall, 41 more days for Major League Baseball and some type of real sport, because basketball, NBA All-Star, it's fun. It's fun to watch these high-scoring games, the competition, the activities that they do for the All-Star game are fun. It's awesome to watch, but I need football or I need baseball to just be entertained, and basketball can only go so far. So I'm excited that it's still just 40 more days. Seems like a lot, but should go by fast. But we'll go ahead and talk about some college football news. Not a whole lot to talk about other than one major thing is with college football rule changes. But first, Rice and head coach David Bailiff agreed to a 5-year contract. The Owls went 10-4 this season and won their first Conference USA title in a very, very long time. And David Bailiff is actually former Texas State head coach who went to Rice a few years ago and has turned that program around now. And it's awesome to see Rice doing good things over there. And as well as their baseball team, I'm excited when they come down here to play Texas State in baseball. That is going to be exciting to watch when Rice and Texas State play. But the main thing for college football is this rule change. The NCAA proposed a new rule. The rule would change, would be prohibit the offense from snapping the ball until 10 seconds have run off the 40-second clock. And it allows defensive players to sub within those 10 seconds, and except for the final 2 minutes of each half. So offenses would have to wait 10 seconds. And if the offense called the play, this is the weird part, if the offense snaps the ball before 10 seconds have come off the clock, then it's a delay of game, which delay of game we're used to where you run out of time and then, delay a game. It's a delay. But this time, if you do it ahead of the 10 seconds, then it's a 5-yard delay of game penalty. Pretty weird. But a lot of coaches, such as Alabama's Nick Saban, are in favor of this to help defense get prepared better for the offense. And teams like Texas Tech, who led the nation in 80-plus plays a game, and as well as Oregon, where they run all these quick plays real fast, up-tempo offenses will now be somewhat hurt by this because defenders being able to get switching out. But I like this rule, since all these rule changes, both for college football and the NFL, have been so pro-offense. And I'm not saying pro-style offense. I'm talking about helping the offensive more, protecting more of those players, and we see defensive struggling. I mean, really can't say that about the NFL, because we all saw how the Seattle Seahawks, number one defense against a number one offense, and we kind of saw how that went. But college football-wise, we've seen, a lot better offenses than defenses. And so with that, I like this rule. I really do. I think this would help defenses a lot. And we'll see more, strategic type games. Defenses being able to switch in and out, now having time. Other than that, whatever the rule was now, that where the referee would stand on the ball and wait until a specific thing would happen so the defense could substitute. But now players would have 10 seconds to sub, as well as offense, except for the final 2 minutes of each half. But if this rule does go through, obviously there are coaches that want it and don't want it. I know Tuberville, who used to be the Texas Tech head coach and now at Cincinnati, does not like this rule because of the way he likes his offense going. But Nick Saban, other coaches are really wanting this rule to go through. So am I, because it would help defenses a lot more. Other than that, college football has just slowed down very much so. But Florida State quarterback, we all know him, freshman Heisman winner, Jameis Winston, also plays baseball and has got and got his first save as a closer, a 6-out save for Florida State against, I think they were playing Nigeria. I mean, why they picked them to play, this is just crazy as a team, but it's just really weird. But he can do it. He can shut teams off, shut teams down in college football and in college baseball. Awesome to see that. NFL-wise, this is how ridiculous being a commissioner and especially how much Roger Goodell makes. In 2012, this is how much money he made. He made $44.2 million. Not $44,000 a year. He made $44 million in 2012 alone. 35.1 million were from salary, and 5 million were based incentives, and then he got a 4.1 pension payment from league's work stoppage in 2011 that was paid in 2012. So overall, $44 million Roger Goodell was paid to do basically absolutely nothing. Nothing. I mean, he's made the NFL a lot weaker. Defenses can't tackle anybody. I'm not a fan of Roger Goodell. I'm not. But for no commissioner in any league, in any sport, should ever make that much money. $44 million. That's just ridiculous amount of money. And that was in 2012, so who knows how much money he's going to make now. Which I guess we'll find out. I guess we find out at the end of every 2 years you find out. So next year we'll find out what he made in 2013. Then the next year we'll find out how much he made in 2014. But $44.2 million for Roger Goodell in 2012 alone is just ridiculous. I think the year before that I know he made $20 million because I used to tell people about that he made $20 million. And, probably I guess he made more from that because in 2012, jumping up another half would be incredible. Roger Goodell, that's just ridiculous amount of numbers to be making for, in my opinion, doing nothing other than making football a little bit worse than it was. Ravens this week it's been a good side for the Ravens, and it's been a little bit of a low point. The high side is Ravens extend outside linebacker Terrell Suggs to a multi-year extension. He was in his final year of a 6-year contract and was due to make $7.8 million this year, but wanting to reduce the salary and him getting older, being 31 years old, they wanted to cut that good amount down. People said that if Terrell Suggs and the Ravens couldn't get a deal made out, he would have been a free agent. But it looks like Terrell Suggs is going to make more money signing this multi-year extension with the Ravens than he would have if he tested the free agent market. So it was really a plus for Terrell Suggs. But I would have loved for him to be a free agent. Hopefully the Chargers would have gone after him. But who knows with that. Ravens running back Ray Rice. Here's the low point for the Ravens. Ray Rice and his fiance were arrested and charged with simple assault. Somehow there's a thing between simple assault and just normal assault, I guess. Anyways, after a physical altercation at Atlantic City Casino, quote, the officer said, quote, they struck each other with their hands and after an argument. And that was it. Why? I mean, it was just Valentine's Day. How did you already get in a fight, especially already hitting each other at a casino? It's crazy. And Ray Rice, I mean, he's already 27 years old, coming off his worst season that he's had in the NFL with 660 yards, and only, I think, 3.1 yards per carry this season, which was last in the league. Ray Rice, what are you doing? And I believe he signed a big multi-year extension last season after winning the Super Bowl, and now this season having a pretty bad year. But that's it for NFL. That's it for football. As you've seen, what was that? 3 total things for the NFL. Roger Goodell, Terrell Suggs, and Ray Rice. And 2 things for college football. Nothing is happening. Offseason. it's been slow, but actually just realized, looking at my calendar, I believe that the NFL Combine is this week. If I believe that is correct. I'm actually going to check it out right now. Let's see. NFL Combine 2014 Indianapolis. NFL Combine 2014 is date and start time. Well, while that's happening, let's see. Actually, that'll load it up pretty quick. Yes, it is February 22nd through the 25th on NFL Network. And first days on positional groups, tight ends, offensive linemen, special teams. Of course, the first day has to be pretty boring. Then the second day is where it gets awesome. Quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. Then on the 24th, it will be defensive linemen and linebackers. And the 25th will be defensive backs. And I'm glad to say that I am off on the weekends from my work, so I'll be able to watch that. Monday, might be able to watch that, but Tuesday, sadly, defensive backs, I won't be able to see, which means I won't be able to see TCU's cornerback, Jason Verrett, top defensive back, first round draft pick, and hope he does really good. Make TCU look good. But anyways, Major League Baseball news, like I said earlier, 41 more days to opening day. 41 more days. Don't know if I can make it, but we will try. And with that, Dodgers outfielders Matt Kemp said, quote, "I am not a fourth outfielder. I can't and won't accept that role." Matt Kemp will be out until early April after recovering from ankle surgery that he had in October. People talked about trading him throughout the offseason, which I was really hoping not, because even though he's had these injury issues the past 2 years, we got to look back at what he did in 2011. 39 home runs, 40 stolen bases, almost a 40-40. Should have had MVP, but of course they had to give it to the steroid user Ryan Braun, the outfielder of the Milwaukee Brewers at the time, and not give it to Matt Kemp, who should have, well deserved it. Anyways, I was totally against trading him because I know what he was capable of. We all do. And, I know the injuries have happened, but, this guy is still the beast mode. He was the original beast mode before there was Marshawn Lynch. People forget that. They had shirts calling Matt Kemp beast mode before Marshawn Lynch. Just putting it out there. And also, I like him. If we were going to trade any outfielder for the Dodgers, I would have to say it's got to be Andre Ethier. Just because he can't hit left-handers at all. He's terrible, and he's very inconsistent. And so I'd rather have Carl Crawford, Matt Kemp, and then Yasiel Puig, right field. That'd be the lineup. That is the best lineup I see right there, and the best outfield right there. Other than Andre Ethier. Andre Ethier is just, if we had to trade someone, it'd have to be him. Carl Crawford maybe next on the list. Obviously, we're not gonna get rid of Yasiel Puig just because of the amazing things that he did his rookie year. But anywho, also GM of the Dodgers agreed with Kemp, saying that he's, quote, not a fourth outfielder, but we have 162 games, and everybody has to get healthy and ready to play, unquote. So basically, who's ever the best, who's ever the healthiest is going to go out there and compete and get the starting spot. But people thought, well, what if all four are healthy, completely healthy, and they're all on a hot streak or doing pretty solid? How are you going to start? Obviously it depends on the pitcher, lefty, righty, what his tendencies are, how he plays against, the position players. But the good thing is we have 2 right-handed hitters and then 2 left-handed hitters. So, that can help us out when we're playing a specific pitcher. But overall, this is more of a blessing. It seems like when I'm reading articles about the LA Dodgers, I'm just seeing more of, arguments and fights, and making this a problem that we have 4 outfielders that are each can start and each have great potential. When that's a really good thing, because, what if one of them goes down, since, they like to get hurt apparently, then you have someone that's ready to step up. So I look at it more of as a blessing that the Dodgers have 4 outfielders that are all potential all-stars that can go out there and compete and score some runs. That's what you need. But other than that, Nationals expect Bryce Harper to be ready for spring training next week. Quote, he's a full go by manager Matt Williams. Athletics and outfielder Josh Reddick agreed to a 1-year, $2.7 million deal. He only made $510,000 last year. Funny how I say he only made that much. And there's a lot of hope for him this season. When he was at spring training, he was in the, taking some BP. And apparently they liked the way he was hitting. That it didn't look like he had a wrist injury last year. And there's a lot of hope for him just to go out there and compete for the Athletics. And the biggest news that came out this week was Red Sox pitcher Ryan Dempster will not pitch this season and possibly ever pitch for not only the Red Sox but for Major League Baseball. He said, quote, I had an incredible run and I don't feel like I can compete or produce the way I'm accustomed to. He turns 37 in May, and this came out of nowhere. That he wasn't. He was. I think I looked at it, and he was supposed to be projected as the opening day starter for the Red Sox. People were expecting good things from him, and then he comes out and says, "I'm not pitching this season. I don't feel like I can, and I don't want to, I guess." And may not even come back for the rest of the year. I posted on Facebook that he's gonna. I think Red Sox are gonna save $13 million this year, because he said that he didn't want to make that much money just to be on DL. Which for some people that's crazy. It's like, well, you could make 11 or 12, $13 million, whatever it was, just to be on DL majority, if not the entire season. And that's meaning doing nothing other than, some practices, I guess. Or just not do anything. I mean, he's made his money, but, for most people, that'd be like, why turn down that much money? But Ryan Dempster, now knowing this, I'm glad that the Dodgers didn't get him, whatever it was, last season or the year before that. When he was with the Cubs and everybody was trade deadline, Dodgers were trying to get him, Rangers were trying to get him, and obviously the Red Sox did get him. And, I was upset because I was like, man, Ryan Dempster could have really helped us. I mean, he helped the Red Sox, but for that, and now he's quitting, that would have been a lot of money just lost right there. Also, Orioles fans, great news. Third baseman Manny Machado reported to spring training. Doesn't know if he'll be ready for opening day, but says when he's back, he's not stopping. And that is good news for the Orioles. Braves and closer Craig Kimbrell agreed to a 4-year, $42 million deal with a $1 million signing bonus. He had over 138 saves in the past 3 years, including a 50-save season last year with a 1.21 ERA. Did I say 1.21? I don't know. Okay, making sure I clear that up. So that's baseball news. And the NBA All-Star Game. The All-Star Weekend was pretty solid, I believe. Watching the first one was I didn't get to see it. I had to record it, and then I rewatched it. Was the Celebrity Game with Kevin Hart, and he gets the MVP, but it says I don't deserve it. Gave it to I can't think of his first name, and his last name is Duncan, but it's not Tim Duncan. Some other guy who's the Secretary of Education to Barack Obama. I don't know, somewhere term. And he ends up winning it. But of course, Kevin Hart has to give a shout out about his movie, which is something I feel like I would have done. Just shout out and just put a self plug in there. And then after that was the skills challenge with 3-point challenge, Rising Stars game, all that other good stuff, which I believe the second day I really don't watch any of that because to me that's just kind of boring. I only watched the Celebrity Game and then the All-Star Game. And the All-Star Game, the West had this game completely won and dominated until the fourth quarter where they jacked up just a bunch of 3 points and missed all of them and helped the East come back and win. Final score was Eastern Conference 163, Western Conference 155. And Cavs point guard Kyrie Irving won the MVP. with 31 points, 5 rebounds, 14 assists. Kevin Durant put on a show, and I believe if the West would have and should have won it, he would have won MVP with 38 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Blake Griffin also had 38 points for the Western Conference, and both of them were very close to the breaking the All-Star record with 42 points. That's all they needed. They would have broke, or at least tied the record with that for most points in an All-Star game. And ESPN, that was basically it. I was going to talk about NBA because I'm just not that into it until playoffs start. I'm not a basketball person. This is just not me. But ESPN's survey, just got a report on my iPod, says 51 anonymous NFL players finds 86% would be okay with having a gay teammate. Obviously, that's coming out after the Michael Sam situation, him coming out saying he's gay. Shouldn't be a big deal, but I guess that's with the 51 anonymous players. I don't know why it was just 51. Why didn't they get majority of the NFL? 86% obviously is overwhelming, especially on that type of discussion. That 86% said they would be okay with it. Not really the way I want to end my show with that, though. But the NFL Combine, I guess we can, at least that's positive. We can talk about that Friday, which it does not start on Friday. So, but we will discuss that, seeing the players, who should step up, and all that sorts of stuff. Because, again, first day is the 22nd with tight ends, offensive linemen, and special teams. Coverage starts at 8 a.m. Central Time on NFL Network. But really, we're going to talk about the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers, the skill position players, who's looking to stand out, which quarterbacks will separate themselves and get better and things like that. Really excited to see, how Johnny Manziel, Taj Boyd, how they participate in it and compete. Obviously, Johnny Manziel will not throw at the NFL Combine, which kind of upsets me when NFL players, or when specific players decide not to throw. I understand if they want to just throw at their pro day because they're used to the same receivers, but to not throw at the NFL Combine, it's just like, well, then why go? I mean, you're going to do basically the same drills at your pro day. Why go to the NFL Combine if you're not going to throw with receivers? Yeah, you're not used to, but once you go in the NFL, you're not going to be used to the same receivers unless the team drafts, or picks up in free agency one of your former players or, that you played with in college. So why not get used to throwing to people you're not used to? That made sense. Why get used to that? Anyways, point is, I wish Johnny Manziel would throw because we all want to see how he performs. But we will talk about that this Friday. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio. Make sure you guys check it out there and listen to past episodes on YouTube, as well as I have discussion videos on YouTube you guys can check out and put your thought into there. Follow me on Twitter at @short_sports 24/7, and Facebook. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. I will see you guys Friday. Talk about the NFL Combine. At least we'll have a little bit more NFL topics to talk about, which will make this a lot smoother and easier for me as I miss football. One quick thing. 27 or 26? Is it 26 now? Because 28, 27. Okay. 27 or 26 more Sundays without football, and then we're back. So if that makes it any easier for people like me, and if you guys feel the same way, missing football, 27 or 26 more weeks without football, and then we're back. Thank you guys for listening. I will see you guys Friday. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio. God first, God bless. I'm out.